Welcome to Kevin's Films and Home Theater. Today, we have the full review of the XGIMI Titan Noir Max, an incredible projector. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling anything here. Throughout this video, I made some comparisons to my Epson LS12000. I have some pretty much common films that have been tested throughout, back and forth, where I compare them. Some of the settings that I want you to know here for the XGIMI that I had set up. I had it set up in filmmaker mode. The iris is set up with dynamic mode, and I had the dark black level enhancement on as well. The image, again, unreal. But the projector comes with different modes. If you want to have IMAX Enhance, ISF Day, ISF Night, I just felt that the filmmaker mode gave me the best motion for me, which I like the 24 frames per second look. I don't like soap opera effect, I stay away from it, but it worked really well for me here. Now the setups that I had for my Epson LS12000, in order to compare, I did have brightness 100% on the Epson, and it is set up in dynamic mode, which usually is the most recommended or best viewing mode that comes with the Epson LS12000. I shot everything with my Canon C70 in RAW format. I imported it into DaVinci Resolve, where I use a color space transform to go from RAW to a Rec 709. The camera wasn't touched, the settings were not touched once set, so what you see is the same settings that I used for the XGIMI as for the Epson. I compared movies. One of them was streaming that I compared. It was Zootopia. I thought the colors were so beautiful in that movie, as well as sometimes the interesting contrast was phenomenal. So I thought, why not capture some of those and share that with you guys. I also have the movie Interstellar, which I think we're all very familiar with, as well as the movie The Martian, all on 4K, those last two on 4K disc. And I've got a few images that I took from my iPhone, and those were of 1917, which I specifically sat down and watched with the XGIMI to kind of understand how the HDR plus, or in this case, the brightness and contrast in that movie is also one that's also very well documented, and I will share that with you later as well. So let's talk about brightness. I have again, a 143-inch screen, CinemaScope, about 160 inches on a 16:9 screen. In this case, I appreciate the light a lot more because it helps really bring out HDR. To give you guys a comparison, I actually measure widescreen to see how bright my Epson LS12000 is compared to the XGIMI. I was getting probably about 100 nits on the Epson LS12000, and I was getting over 200 nits on the XGIMI projector. That is a massive difference when it comes to HDR. I think that when I first watched HDR, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago on my Epson 4010, that image was dull. It was dark. I didn't care for it. I'd rather watch everything on regular Blu-ray. I'd stop buying 4Ks. And it really wasn't until I bought the LS12000 where my brightness stepped up a little bit more on the laser side of things, and the HDR was a little bit better, and the image on the Epson was a lot better on the LS12000, and I really started to appreciate HDR. Now, this is a massive step for me in HDR. The image is unreal with the brightness. You are capturing, I feel like, a lot more detail having a brighter projector. Granted, the interesting contrast as well. The blacks really stand out with the bright scenes. That one is probably one of those in 1917 that where he is walking, maybe halfway through the movie, walking through the town that's burning, and you've got a little bit of obviously dark and bright. It is a stunning image to watch out of this projector. In other movies like Interstellar and The Martian, you can see how much more brightness brings in, how much more detail it really brings to the image. I felt that it was just a completely different image from what I'm used to with my Epson LS12000. And mind you, let me say, I have enjoyed my Epson LS12000 for over a year and a half. So to see this jump at this price point, which we'll get to a little bit later, it's unbelievable, really. I thought that this unit as well, the dynamic tone mapping that is built in here. I don't have a video processor, so what you see here is either coming from my Panasonic UB420 and into the image here. The tone mapping was beautiful, and I'll put a picture or two here that I've shared probably in my first impressions video. It does such a good job capturing images on here. Again, it just brings a whole new different level to the viewing experience. It just looks awesome. When it comes to sharpness, this unit it's a DLP projector. It's a pixel shifting projector. I can tell because it's sharper I feel like I can see maybe the screen door effect as much as I do on my Epson LS12000, which after a while I've become used to. I haven't had a native 4K projector here in my room. The only time that I have not seen in a projector, I'll probably will say it's going to be the Epson QL3000, and I've got a review on that later on in the future. But so I can see it from 13 feet away. Again, it's very minor, and it doesn't affect maybe sometimes if the images are really, really bright. You can see that a little bit on my end, but sharpness is a lot sharper than my LS12000. I think sometimes now I can appreciate a film grain a little bit more because it is sharper image versus the LS12000 being a little bit dull on the image and not as sharp. Sometimes it just looks a little bit more, it's just, you're not able to capture the little details as good as you are, I think, with this projector. The black levels on this unit are enhanced or are available now because they're dual intelligent iris system, and also with a dark black level enhancement. Again, you have those set up, at least in my way, the dynamic mode iris and the dark black enhanced labels on, and you are going to get a fantastic image. So the Epson LS12000 has good blacks. I think native contrast maybe about 5,000 on the Epson LS12000. Compared to my LS12000, I think that it would be hard for me to tell the difference subjectively. I don't have it set up to the iris set up to an f7.0. I've got a dynamic mode. I want to get the best out of both, whether the image is bright, dark, and be able to adjust throughout. It's a good image. It's a very good image. Some of the ways that I can tell the black floor, at least on my end, when it goes to a complete dark screen, is because I have black velvet around my screen. You can appreciate how close to black an image is when it goes to fade to black completely, I guess in this case, because it's actually, your room actually goes pretty dark. So when it comes to it, it has one of the better contrasts that I've seen so far. Probably a little bit better than my Epson LS12000, but again, I don't think the Epson LS12000 is a slouch when it comes to black levels, at least for me. You've got the JVC inky blacks, and if you're used to that, obviously, you're probably used to an image that's probably not as bright unless you have the NZ900. And even then, I mean, this is a lot brighter than the NZ900 for a fraction of the cost. The projector is bright enough too that if you've got lights on in your home theater and you've got a static image, or maybe you're watching a sports, this is actually something that you can watch, sit back, and enjoy. Those are bright, very colorful images that don't require you to be in a dark room. If you were watching something that is completely dark or a lot darker, like 1917, I probably wouldn't watch half that movie with lights on. It wouldn't make any sense. You would lose all the details. You have to have lights off. But when it comes to sports, or kids movies in general that are very colorful, I think even when the lights on, it's pretty intense or pretty cool to see how bright this projector is and how much of an image still pops out when the lights are still on in your room. As a whole, again, I think this is probably the best projector that you are going to find when you're comparing this projector to, say, an Epson LS12000 at $6,000, an Epson QB1000 at $8,000, maybe the JVC 500 at $6,000, even the JVC 700, and there are other reviewers. At ThrillCat has a review coming out where he will compare it to the JVC NC700. I encourage you guys to go check him out. When it comes to the Sony Bravia 7, with the Kickstarter price right now for $2,999, you cannot go wrong with this projector. If this is the first projector that you buy, you cannot go wrong. Think about how much money you're gonna have left to get a decent screen, to go along with your picture, to maybe upgrade some part of your audio, because instead of spending $7,000 on a projector, now you only have to spend $3,000. I think it's a value that I don't know if you can match it. I would love to know if there's another projector right now for $3,000 that can provide this kind of specs, this visual image that is incredible here in my theater room. Some of the things that I do have to work around is that I won't have the lens memory that I do have on my Epson. but overall, it's a pretty easy process for me to change images if it's a CinemaScope movie to a 16:9 feature presentation. It's not a hard thing to do, and one of the things that XGIMI has promised here in the future is to be able to provide lens memory for up to, I think, maybe 5 presets. So that's gonna be pretty cool. For now, I can do it without it, so when it's here, that's gonna be great. I think that the anti-RBE, when it gets fixed, it might be something that I would try. I think they may have come out with a firmware update here in the last few days. I've not tried it on here where they try to improve on the anti-rainbow effect. And that will probably be something that I will try and test out and let you guys know what I think about it. I think the last wish here that I would have for XGIMI here for probably the XGIMI Titan Noir Max 2 next year or the year after, I would love to see a 4K DLP chip on this thing to be able to see a pristine image capable of many other bigger things. That is phenomenal. Overall, I'm extremely pleased with this unit. Guys, if you have any more questions on the unit, hopefully some of the images that I've shared with you either prompt you to ask some questions or able to see the differences between this projector and the LS1000. Drop down a comment below. Is there anything else that you want to know about the unit? What keeps you from jumping into that Kickstarter campaign? Is it maybe other projectors coming out next year? What projector do you currently have in your setup that has just wowed you and you're not, hey, I'm not ready to change it and I don't want to change it for the next couple of years? What is that projector? Guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this provided a little bit of feedback on the unit and maybe allows you to make a more educated decision when you decide to move on to your next projector. Guys, thank you very much and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. It is a little bit difficult to shoot and film RGB laser projectors. It's just what I see here, it's sometimes very hard to capture on the camera. On the Epson side, what you're seeing there is a lot more closer to what I'm seeing here. So I want to preface that. You got to take it with a little bit of grain of salt. I'll still tell you my thoughts and what I saw, and hopefully that helps when making a determination whether you're trying to get an Epson LS12000 or the XGIMI right now in the Kickstarter campaign. I did not use the projector with the anti-RBE on at the time of my testing. There was a slight grain that came up in the image that I didn't care for. Now, that being the case, I know XGIMI's working on a fix for the anti-RBE, and I also didn't find the rainbow effect to really bother me as much with this projector. Can I see it? I've seen it. Can I see it enough to bother me? I do not, and it kind of either I got used to it or it just doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would bother me. The cool thing again, as they get a fix for it, if it bothers me in the future, I can turn on the anti-RBE on and be able to enjoy the image just as great. So again, my thoughts are also subjective. In this case, it could be different for somebody else, but I feel like I've seen enough projectors to get a good idea of what a good image really is. I'm a big film fan at heart, filmmaker at heart as well, made a narrative feature film in the past, so I think I understand film a little bit, or at least visuals, what I'm looking for. So hopefully that helps in your case in determining what you want to do after the review.